idea of knowing of a God comes along the same line. You didn't come with any knowledge. Your knowledge was blank. It was blank at that time. When a baby is born, that knowledge is blank. He has the freedom to do anything. He even has the freedom to touch fire. He has the freedom to touch fire. A child has got the freedom. He feels that he has to touch everything, to do as he so please. There is no limit as to what a child should do or can do. There is no limitations. It is the guide that is around the child that limits the child, and it is that same guide that feeds the child with information and food. It is the same guide that the child emulates, the child sort of imitates in so many ways. So you are the image you may carry, your personal nature, you may throw it away, you may lost it, you may, it may be whatever, but at the end of the day, you will pick up the activities of life, what you have met, what people have created it to be, how people have accepted it to be through generations, how people believe that things work or how things should be done, and you'll be inculcated. It will be fixed into your brains, in you, and turn your nature to be as it is acceptable in life. So you will be changed. You will become new. You will be changed. You will be changed. You will become new, and you will then have a life through that. That is what I'm saying, that change is what makes us have these issues. That change makes us make our decisions. That change and make us become the person that we are. There is no doubt about that. It comes through the same channels of culture, religion. You may definitely be along or come along from that side, but the through you was an empty baby, an empty shell, nothing but free will to do as you so please. To touch fire without fear, without anything, unless the fire burn you. Even if it burn you, you touch again. And the child doesn't even know that the fire is burning. He will feel the pain and he will cry, but he will not move his hand away. Unless you move the child away or move the hand away or put the fire off. That is how a child is. Vulnerable, empty, and maybe you use the word stupid or foolish, whichever way, but not necessarily, he's not consciously aware of his state, so he's not really stupid or foolish. But that is the attitude or character that we will define ourselves in life. So if we keep on with Abraham and presenting God here as if God is asking things from us, and He wants a goat to be, a sheep to be presented to Him and all that. I think it's all not working straight. It doesn't really, click together that God will need all these things from Abraham for anybody for that matter. Or anybody for that matter. Abraham commanded to offer Isaac, and Abraham had to go and offer Isaac as a sacrifice to God and all that. No, I don't think so. At a point in time, this sacrifice went on, and it went on and all that. But Sarah had to die. He ended up dying after the child is born and grown a little bit. Abraham was left alone and buried the wife. Now we go down to where Rebecca choosing as a wife for Isaac. Now Abraham has to choose a wife for his son. Okay, and Abraham was very, very old. And Abraham make one of his servants have to swear, how he has to choose a wife for Isaac. And he has to swear by putting his hand under his cloth or something like that, and swear by the God Almighty, that the God of the master is God, because that's become their God. If your master is worshiping anything, you also worship the same thing. Africans everywhere, anybody that you get colonized by another, your masters worship anything, that's what you worship. I worship, or I became Christian because my masters or what I was born to learn, that at the end of the day, my masters were practicing a way of worship or their religious thing. So that became a normal thing in life where, everywhere you go, there was that sense of approach towards believing in a divine God in that nature. If Islamic people, or let's say Chinese people, or whatever was Buddhist people were controlling or colonizing, it would have ended up the same way. You would have, even though if you can still go back to your own and worship or serve, you will still have elements of this in your life, because it will become a normal way of life. It will put into your institution, your steady life, everything, and you're bound to pick it up. And that's how it is. It's not like it won't necessarily be deliberate. It's a natural thing. Since they colonize, the rest of the people who are into this thing settles in. They do their own practice, and you naturally pick from them. You're growing up. It's only that time the older ones who were consciously at their world, of themselves and aware of things, they will resist. But that resistance will pass away as time goes on, because they will be treated and put through some chain of punishment or whatever by the masters, to the extent that they will wear off, and most of them will be wiped away and died and gone, and their children will have to grow knowing very little, and if sometimes knowing nothing, and their children will admire. They will admire the children of their masters. They will sort of move along that line, and that's how it is. And we then adapt easily. It's like, it just passed. If you're at the type that your ancestors were able to let something behind, you sort of still hold on to a few, but at the end of the day, the way of life is the way it is. There isn't much you can do but blend in and move on and change your life through that angle. So that's what happens. His master was believing Jehovah as his God, and he has to be that. So he swore by that, And what was the swearing about? It says in Genesis 24, after he asked him to swear, why was he asking him to swear? Where he should pick a wife for his son Isaac. He told him in Genesis 24, verse 4, but you shall go to my country, Abraham, his country, and to my family, to his family, where Abraham and Lot came from. He should go there. He's telling his servant to go to his family and take a wife for my son Isaac. Go into my family. This is incest. Today we'll call it incest. You understand? The whole generation of Israel has come out of incest. It's like me. Go back to my family where I was born. My mother and father gave birth to me, to my brothers and sisters, or my brothers and sisters there, and pick one of their children for my son to marry. Simple analysis. I don't have to analyze it too much for you. You read Genesis 24. When you get to 4, it's not a secret, it's there. Okay, so if today, in our world today, we have problem with incest, and we say we are Christians, or we are Muslims, or we are whatever, we have problem. Our normal natural life is wrong. Okay, and we are presenting this as something that Abraham, the father to all of us, according to the will of God, he was doing this because that is what the culture was, or that is what the religion had to be. And we are doing something different. We have set a law against it because God told us it is wrong. I mean, if God did tell us, nothing wrong with that. I have no problem with the whole thing is looking for the right way of life, the true way of life, the natural way of life. What makes us set the norms to realize that incest is wrong? How did we get it? Where did we know it from? Is it from this book, or is it from some incident that happened, or from our own way of life? We realize that we cannot live our life like that. Why? I don't know. Where did we get it from? Now, in this book, in the religious sect of things, it is written here that culture, it was there. But this is a religious book, and it's revealing the culture of another people. And that cultural person we are talking about was a religious man who had faith and believed in the same God that this religious book presents. And this, he was revealing as something from culture and religiously acceptable by him. It's the same way that the Islamic side also is. So if this is the situation whereby, as we are trying to say, that the source of whatever morals we have set up our life is coming from this book, then I'm not necessarily wrong. But